Welcome to all the devotees in today's session of the Secrets of Bhagavad-gita. Om Ajnanativanandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So today we are going to discuss Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text number 34. Let us start. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtir maranadati richyate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation: people will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. We had already discussed this point last time. Still, we'll see some new points from Prabhupada purports. Purport. Both as friend and philosopher to Arjuna, Lord Krishna now gives his final judgment regarding Arjun's refusal to fight. So, this particular argument is considered a final judgment to Arjuna because for Kshatriya to get infamy or defamy of any sort is worse than death. And uh, any Kshatriya would consider 10 times before inviting such infamy on him. So, this is the, we can say, the final astra or final argument from Lord Shri Krishna towards Arjuna. Though out of compassion, Lord Krishna would uh, try to convince Arjuna in various ways, but this is the uh, we can say uh, the pinnacle of any arguments regarding Arjun's concerns. Okay, the Lord says, Arjuna, if you leave the battlefield before the battle even begins, people will call you a coward. And if you think that people may call you bad names, but that you will save your life by fleeing the battlefield, then my advice is that you would do better to die in the battle. For a respectable man like you, ill fame is worse than death. So you should not flee for fear of your life. Better to die in the battle. That will save you from the ill fame of misusing my friendship and from losing your prestige in society. So the final judgment of the Lord was for Arjuna to die in the battle and not withdraw. Now this may sound harsh, that how a friend uh, of Arjuna is advising him to die on the battlefield. So those who are not familiar with Kshatriya spirit may have such doubts in their minds. However, when we see the Kshatriya culture, the Kshatriya spirit, the spirit of a warrior, and much more than a warrior, because Kshatriya is a very respectable person in the society, not just his for his bravery in, uh, in fighting, but for his uh, overall personality. So Kshatriyas have been trained from the beginning to uphold dharma uh, and protect their citizens from adharma. So Kshatriyas are supposed to be of, we can say, highest character. Generally, nowadays people have a very wrong impression of Kshatriya class. They think that Kshatriya means some low class people or those who are addicted to many bad habits or so-called members of royal family who are exposed to all sorts of sense gratification. So that is not the correct understanding of a Kshatriya class. This is something um, we can say leftover. What we are seeing is the leftover of the original Kshatriya society in the past. So, for Kshatriyas, they are supposed to be of highest character. Sometimes it is said that Kshatriyas are allowed to marry uh, more than more than one wife, and they can keep maid servants, dasis. So it seems that they are not having enough sense control. Uh, we may have such doubt, but that is not the uh, uh, correct analysis. So Kshatriyas, because they represent God. So uh, as God maintains everyone, so Kshatriyas, in their role as representative of God, Ishvara Bhavascha. In the Bhagavad-gita, there are characteristics of Kshatriya. So, Teja, Kshama, Dhritir Daksham, Yudhecha, Apalayanam, Danam, Ishvara Bhavascha, Kshatra Dharma Swabhavajam. So, Ishvara Bhava is uh, to dominate over citizens and dominate in a positive sense, that they have to take the role of a leader and guide their citizens, and to guide their citizens they have to be of highest character. That is the point. So uh, they can maintain maid servants, because these maid servants they uh, come along with the queens, because when prince or any king gets married, then the princess or queen, they are accompanied by their uh, female assistants. They are called dasis, and there is a particular caste in a traditional society who does this task of assisting the queen. So it is not that all any caste or uh, any shudras or vaishyas uh, members can do this, and because there is a uh, long parampara for this practice. So these particular maid servants have been trained from the beginning of their life to see queen or princess as a representative of Lakshmi, or goddess of fortune, and uh, they would assist her throughout their life, throughout her life. So while the princess is young, so they will be assisting, and then when she would get married, so this dasis, some of the dasis would go along the queen or princess, and serve her throughout their lives. So that is the understanding, and because Kshatriyas are supposed to be resourceful, that is their dharma. So they can't be poor people. So if they um, uh, exhibit poverty, then they are not fit to be Kshatriyas. That is also distinct characteristics of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya cannot be poor. So in a traditional context, because they have power, they have resources, they can create resources. Even if they don't have resources, they have the ability to create resources. And they will get people together by their leading leadership qualities. So that is Kshatriyas. And uh, Kshatriya would maintain everyone. If they are supposed to maintain all citizens, then what to speak of few dasis? So they can help these maid servants, but that does not mean that uh, they are so loose in sense control that they need so much of sex pleasure. So that is not the understanding. So as their kshatriya dharma, their kshatriya dharma demands uh, any battle or fight at any time. So they are supposed to be ready to sacrifice their lives. And uh, with this responsibility, there is some, we can say, some more allowance of luxury to Kshatriyas in the form of having uh, maid servants, and the Kshatriyas could are supposed to treat these maid servants or dasis as their wives. So though a Kshatriya king may not marry each and every dasi in a literal sense, but because they are assistants of queen or assistants of the princess, so they are also considered subordinate to king, um, and they are supposed to be or meant to be enjoyed by the king. So king uh, king will treat them as his wives, not like some prostitutes. So there is a difference between prostitutes and these maid servants. So these maid servants, they have a uh, complete dedication right from the very beginning of their life. They are assisting princess or the queen, and till they die, they will be serving her. So this is the commitment, and they will be serving the king also. So we also hear from Valmiki Ramayana that Lord Rama uh, would show uh, utmost utmost respect as that of uh, a son towards his mother, uh, to any person, or to any maid servant who uh, Maharaj Dashratha shows a favorable glance at. So Maharaj Dashratha had at least three queens, but he had many maid servants. So all these, maybe more than 300 or something. So Maharaj Dashratha had this many maid servants, and towards any maid servants, if Maharaj Dashratha happens to show a favorable glance, or if he is pleased with some maid servant, then Lord Rama would even treat that maid servant as his own mother. So he would give that much respect to that maid servant. So that is also a description. So this relationship is a husband and wife only. Now one may wonder then, but not all the maid servants uh, get progeny from the king. Then what about their future? Well, that is the future. That is their position as maid servant. So they will be assisting the queen and serving the king in their own capacity. So they will be treated as wives, but they are not exactly on the same status as wife. So they may or they may not get progeny from the king. For example, Dhritarashtra has had a uh, Vaishya maid servant, and through that Vaishya maid servant, he got Yuyutsu. So he got a son called Yuyutsu, who took the side of Maharaj Yudhishthira on the battlefield of Mahabharata. So that is the story from Mahabharata. So um, uh, one may wonder then, will it not be an injustice to those women who may be considered married to the king, but actually they may not get any opportunity to beget progeny in their life? Well, uh, when it comes to dharma, then emotions are not the first criteria. We have discussed this point many times, that emotions are not the ultimate criteria. For example, if someone becomes a widow, what to do with her emotions? Can we say now, because now she has become a widow, now what to do? So she must get remarried. That is not the consideration. So as long as dharma allows it, we can enjoy our emotions, or we can dovetail our emotions for the uh, for a better word, we can say like that. So that dovetailing also needs some structure or some uh, particular context. Not that just because we have emotions, we have uh, right to exercise those emotions by any means. That is not the point. So if someone has become a widow at early age, then that is something she should tolerate. So it is painful. That there is no doubt about it. But that's where the difference between a person, a follower of dharma, and those who do not follow dharma. So dharma means we have to consider what Lord Krishna or God has ordered us to do in this particular situations. That does not mean that we do not respect emotions. Even, uh, for example, to die with husband, that's also highest emotion. We call it sati pratha and this and that. But those who do that voluntarily, so that was considered the highest emotion towards one's husband. That and they were trained like that from the beginning of their life to treat husband as God and love him to the extent that they would not even tolerate her absence, his absence. So that is also a highest emotion, to be devoted to one's husband and to follow him in all situations of life. So, and that's regarding widow. Now, some may wonder then what about maid servants? So, maid servants may not get the same status as wife. So, maid servants, that is also emotion. That is also emotions, because nowadays we only know only the highest emotion is something, just one is lover and another is beloved. So that is not the complete picture of the Vedic society or complete picture of the material world or spiritual world. So there is a loving reciprocation between master and servants. So being maid servants, they are dedicated to the kings, and whether king likes them or does not like them, they are supposed to serve him, and they will be satisfied with their emotions, that pure emotions. That is also training in the bhakti. That's what we are practicing. Ashli Shiva Padaratam Tinishtumam Adarshanan Marmahatam Karotuva Yatha Tathava Vidhatu Lampatu Matprananatas Saiva Natara. So, whatever God may do with us, so we are supposed to be dedicated to Him, dedicated to Lord Krishna under all circumstances, whether He Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tohar, whether He uh, protects us or does not protect us. That's all up to him. So that is also in highest. That's also highest emotion, isn't it? So, uh, so it's not that we do not respect emotions, but we respect pure emotions, and for worldly emotions, that I want to enjoy this, I want to enjoy that. So for this kind of emotions, these are not the ultimate criteria for deciding dharma. So these worldly emotions of enjoying some rasa, that may be accommodated, that can be accommodated within the boundaries of dharma. That is there. But it's not that these are the uh, final criteria to decide dharma. So, and that is why the whole society should be trained into varnashram dharma right from the beginning of their life. Otherwise, we see everywhere some chaos in all relationships. Husband doesn't know what to do with wife, wife does not know what to do with husband, and husband wife do not know what to do with their kids. Kids don't know what to do with their parents, and parents don't know what to do with their parents, and grandparents do not know what to do with their grandchildren. So it's just a complete mess. So, uh, and that is why to understand the will of God, that is dharma. Dharma means the will of God. Dharma to sakshat bhagat praditam. Whatever God sanctions or Lord Krishna has ordered us to do, that is dharma. And that is for our ultimate benefit. And to understand that, we need to be humble. We cannot challenge the authority of God. But I'm not able to understand this in this way or that way. Why this so? Well, there are some people, learned people in our society, Brahmanas, and they will make us understand how God is so merciful. And but we we should not just keep challenging uh, God's authority or Lord Shri Krishna's authority on every aspect of dharma. If we are not able to understand something, then we should be humble. That many great personalities, great people, Mahapurushas have followed this path. So we should have that much faith that if they have followed this, then it must be true. There must be something great in this. So if Mother Draupadi and Mother Kunti followed their vows of chastity and uh, they remain dedicated to their three dharma, then it must be the ideal. That must be uh, the standard. Everyone should follow. So we should have at least that much humility. And if you don't have that humility, then we will be at loss. Because without humility, we cannot follow dharma. And if we don't follow dharma, then we will have to follow the consequences of adharma. Because there are only two things we can do, either dharma or adharma. If you are not following dharma, then we will be doing adharma. And we should not argue, no, but my husband is not like Lord Rama, or my husband should not argue that my wife is not like Mother Sita. Whatever, yeah, whatever may be the situation, we have to follow our individual dharma, irrespective of what others are doing. So that is the attitude for following any dharma. We have to see as a responsible person, we have connection with God. That's the ultimate reality. So we are servants of God, and God has ordered us to do something. So that is, we have to think in those terms only. Not that now all the time we have this quarreling now. Husband is like this, husband is like that, or wife is like this, wife. Whatever. We can't just waste our time just in such silly matters. We have to spend our time in following our dharma. And along with dharma, we have to um, imbibe the mood of bhakti. So we have examples of Pandavas, Mother Draupadi, Mother Kunti. So they followed the dharma, and they were great devotees of God, great devotees of Lord Shri Krishna. So that is the uh, perfect examples of Krishna conscious person. So Krishna conscious person is the uh, most religious person. We can say the dharmic person. So he not that on the name of Krishna consciousness we give up all dharmas. So the even the word sarva dharma parityaja does not mean that we have to literally give up all these dharmas. It was only meant that Arjuna should give up all his attachment to ordinary dharmas or those dharmas who are going against the conclusion of Lord Shri Krishna. It was a very contextual statement because Arjuna had many arguments, and that's why Lord Krishna gave his final judgment that these dharmas are actually going against my conclusion. I ask you to fight, and you denied on the strength of all these arguments from other dharmas. But actually, you should just obey me. So, in this context, we should understand that sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all these dharma. Give up all these dharma, not that all dharmas. Otherwise, uh, have to understand that even after hearing Bhagavad-gita, Arjuna still follows his dharma as Kshatriyas. Now we may wonder, oh, that was only for Mahabharata. Uh, but no, Arjuna just not only carried his duty as a Kshatriya during Mahabharata, but even after Mahabharata war, he acted as Kshatriya. It's not that after the Mahabharata war is over, then Arjuna declared, okay, Krishna, you asked me to do fight for you. I did it. Now I want to just go to the forest. That was not the situation. So the correct understanding is that of the Sarva Dharman Paritya, those dharmas who directly go against the order of Krishna should be rejected. Not that any dharma should be rejected. Because dharma is not actually in opposition to the will of God. And that was a very particular situation. Any any sane person would also get confused in the situation because Arjuna had to kill his relative, his grandfather, his teacher, which is not an ordinary situation. So that was a very particular situation. That's why uh, this particular instruction, Sarvadharman Pratyaja, was given to him. That does not mean that we are supposed to give up dharma. Okay, I will stop here. If there is any question, we can take. If not, we can stop here. Vivek Pro, any questions so far? Hare Krishna, Vivek Pro. Okay, we'll stop here. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता यज्ञ की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू ऑल फॉर ज्वाइनिंग द क्लास हरे कृष्ण